Nigerian Super Eagles. But well, I think the biggest story today is going to be the semi-final between Italy and Spain.
That's the
I think
hugest
that
one.
is the
That's the
biggest
hugest one.
what everyone is waiting for now.
Should we jump straight to that one?
Well, let's just talk about the updates. Talking about the Wimbledon Open because 8 seed Caroline Pliskova brushed aside
Come
for
on,
good
man.
round.
Come on, man. That's
It's
juicy.
set to reach semi-final of the Wimbledon Open for the very first time. She actually won 6-2, 6-2. That's a straight set for
Straight
her,
sets
and that's a
against
good one.
Victoria
Yeah,
Golubic.
yeah, that's a good one for Pliskova. We really
Hmm.
have to say kudos. I think it is time for Pliskova to actually go in there and win a Grand Slam. She has been around for quite some time. Maybe this will be our own opportunity. And also talk about what is going on in the men's singles. We have Polish first seed Hubert Ukas will meet 8-time champion Roger Federer in the quarterfinal after overcoming world number two. That he made the net for 5 sets. He gave the net 2-6, 7-6, 7-2, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. And now she will be facing Roger Federer, a 20 Grand Slam winner. Don't forget that Federer defeated Lorenzo Sonego
Yeah.
7-5, 6-4, 6-2 yesterday.
Hmm.
Victor is like this year's final, both in WTA and in men's singles. We're likely to see your familiar faces
Well,
in the final.
it looks like it could be. And point of correction, I said Hungarian. Well, actually, Hubert Okas is
Yeah,
Polish.
yeah,
He's the
Poland.
14th seed. And of course, he'll be meeting Roger Federer, who is 8-time champion in this competition. But hey, we have to look through the list. And like you said, we might possibly be seeing
Your unfamiliar faces.
unfamiliar faces.
Especially the WTA.
I mean, well, we have always seen that happen in the WTA, but I'm looking at the names now. I mean, come on, man. We have Matteo Berrettini, Felix Olga Alisim. We have Denis Shapovalov in there. Karen Kachanov is also in there. Marton Fuxovic is also in there. So the familiar names that we are expecting that should be in here should be Novak Djokovic
Definitely.
and sixth seed Roger Federer. Those are the two that we would be thinking. But right now, as it stands, there's a possibility that either of them could be knocked out.
Definitely.
Or both.
We might likely be saying unfamiliar names right in there. But that is not the beauty of the game. Tennis, especially in the WTA.
Come on,
I think
man.
we might likely see a new winner right in the future. Maybe we go straight to football. Let me confirm
Before
this.
we go to football, there's an update from Olympics where the Olympic organizers are telling the public to stay away from the marathon and race walk events due to fears over the coronavirus. There's so many fears hanging over this one, but that's by way of the updates. And they have been telling the public not to line the routes of the marathon and race walk events at the Tokyo Games over fears that crowds could spread coronavirus infections. Well, we have the two events taking place in Sapporo, which still has emergency COVID measures in place. So
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth.
When you mentioned Sapporo, I remember Japan Korea 2000. That was Nigeria player played
yeah.
against Argentina.
Yeah,
Sapporo.
I think that the last one against England was the Battle of Osaka.
In Osaka second game,
Yeah, Osaka.
we play the last game of Osaka against England. So
Hmm.
Sapporo, I still remember the name. And we have to find out the Yokohama. Remember
Well.
that time. But Victor, before we talk about what is going on right here in Euro 2020, we have two Zambian players. These two guys for me, the past 2 years, have been the best player
Hmm.
ever come out of Zambia. They were doing wonderfully well. Both of them have now moved to England. Well,
Patson Daka, I'm sure.
joining Leicester City, and we have a certain I can't remember the name of the other guy. But I think these two guys, we really have to give it to them. Moving to Brighton over Beyond, I think.
Oh, okay. Is it Engeko or what's his name?
Yeah, I will remember his name before the end of the show. I think we really have to give it to them. These Serbian guys are really fantastic. We really have to say these two guys, they have been doing well. They have been representing their country well. That's going to be Brazil Dakar versus our guy now, Kelechi Iheanacho, and that is just it. But for Brazil Dakar, it's just that the way we are talking about Onuachu here, this guy got load of goals for RB Leipzig last season. So we really have to give it to them. We really have to give it to him. He has done wonderfully well for RB Leipzig because these two guys will go in there. Let's hope that they will live up to expectation. And also Brighton over, don't forget they talk about Nigeria Paul Onuachu too. They talk about getting Onuachu, but now they have this Zambia. Maybe Onuachu might be moving straight to West Ham.
Possibilities.
That might be joining West Ham, but at the same time, we really have to say kudos to them. But also, still talking about going on in the world of transfer, Junior Firpo, that was their fullback, moved straight to Ella Road with the buyback.
Well, Uh, I
I
don't know what to
think
make of that, but I think yes, it's going to be solid for the player because it needs that game time and it needs to actually join. It's not needed at Barcelona.
a lot of players now, a lot of players from Barcelona junior team just join the first team after playing one season they go out on loan. Barcelona will now put buy back clause and you need to.
And,
Sometimes
and,
I don't seem to understand what is going on.
and they waste the career of these players because I remember the case of Bojan Kirkic. I remember several other players, but the one that actually is so intriguing to me is the one involving Gerard Deulofeu. I mean, I remember he was on
Yeah,
loan.
Everton.
Watford, went to Everton. Yet they kept deceiving him, bringing him back, only to just throw him around. And I think it's quite bad. And that is for all the talks about La Masia. I mean,
That is just it
how
for
many
me.
of them have we seen come out and do
People
something?
they make noise about this Lamasia, and I begin to look at them. What are you saying? Lamasia produced Lionel Messi, don't know about that. Iniesta,
Sergio
things
Busquets.
like that happen to
But after them, who else?
virtually every club has stories. Sometimes in England produce good players too.
A whole lot of them.
That's-
Southampton have actually produced quite a number of players playing for the English national team.
Definitely.
We have
Definitely.
them over the years. Some of them have moved to very big clubs.
Big club,
Many
we
do
have
not
seen-
even understand that Southampton produced Gareth Bale at some
A
point
lot-
in
yes,
time.
a lot of good
Alex
players.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
We saw Theo Walcott and Co. All of them pass through
The
Southampton.
production line
A lot
is very huge.
A lot of players, some clubs do have players like that. Look at Ajax Amsterdam. Ajax
mean-
produce Patrick Kluivert, produce Gaddafi, produce Clarence Seedorf.
Almost
A lot
all the big players
a
who
lot
went
of
through the Dutch national team.
The Bar brothers, Danny Blind, yes, Danny Blind.
Danny Blind, the
Who
father
have-
of Daley Blind.
All these guys passed through Ajax. I remember 94, 95, 96. Give it to Jem, Jarry Littman. They played the final of UEFA Champions League back to back. I remember them. So if you are talking about La Masia, I don't look at people. But that's why I said a lot of people when it comes to this our job, they attach a lot of sentiment to it. And virtually all these teams you talk about have reserve teams that have produced one or two players in the past. So stop talking about La Masia. Look how the players are talking. Look at Barcelona first team. How many of them pass through La Masia?
Well, I don't know, but let's just move on away from there. I don't know. Should we still talk about transfer news or we just move on?
Let's beat about what's going on in the world of transfer because you know by next week to be about transfer galore. There will be more talking of America.
And of course, Tottenham boss wants Benfica player, and that's talking about Aris Seferovic, the Switzerland striker, who has been quite impressive at the tournament. Also, Liverpool.
Yes, you need to be very careful about that. Seferovic.
He's 29-year-old.
Yeah, we saw him play in the Spanish La Liga. It's not really getting that result for us to say that. I think really have to think twice. Though I think he's been talking about how he's going to tie down Harry Kane. Though I doubt that.
I doubt the tying down of Harry Kane.
If Harry Kane were allowed to stay. But this Brazilian guy, Victor, I don't know which club will sign this guy. He's a good player, but he has a bad attitude. I'm talking about Richarlison.
Oh, well, Richarlison is right there, Everton, and I'm sure that a lot of people have been
This guy
wondering.
can play fantastic football for you now. In the next minute, get red carded. That is Richarlison for you.
You know, these are some of the things that you watch out from players, and I would have sworn that he would have adjusted appropriately and helped himself get better. With some of those problems, but hey, he's not done himself a whole lot of good because aside that now, there are some moments where he gets injured and the timing is so awful for his team, and I think it's one of the issues that he should
Actually
be thinking
affected,
about.
Everton
Yeah.
last season. I remember at the start of last season, Everton they played 5 games and they won all the 5 games, 15-point maximum. People are thinking maybe Everton will challenge for the title. Before you see Jack Robinson,
They're down.
I still remember their midfield trial of James Rodriguez, Alan, and Doucouré. I still remember. I told somebody that this Everton will fall off, and that happened at the end of the day. But maybe Richarlison, but this guy for me is a player that belongs to big club. If you can check his attitude,
Well.
if you can actually do that,
I don't know about that.
he belongs there.
And speaking about what you said, I'm trying to look at where they actually finished. I'm looking at
I think Everton actually finished around
10th. They
position.
finished in 10th position
Sure.
behind promoted Leeds United.
That is just it.
Behind them, they have a minus goal difference.
I think he did a loss to Chelsea. That was the thing that actually started going down.
They didn't even score as much as Leeds United. That's the problem. They didn't win as much games as they did. Come on.
So sad for them. But that's football. But Victor, another thing I want us to talk about again is Liverpool don't allow Mo Salah joining the Egyptian Olympic squad.
Oh well.
Salah wants to go to the Olympic, but Liverpool says no. We are not ready to release you. can't join the Olympic team,
Well,
there's nothing we can do. We are talking about European football here, and you know the Premier League will start August 13th. That is just August 13th after we play Brentford. That is the opening game, and as at that time we go to the Olympic. Yes, your country might be out, but you need enough rest for you to be okay, to be up and doing for your club. And remember the case of Mikel Obi 2008, that they actually invited to play for Nigeria and they said no.
yeah, he said no.
That actually happened between him and Safi Stiatia, because the moment you go to the Olympic, by the time you come back to your club, no coach will use you, because
Your place is lost.
if you miss if you miss the preseason, most of the players that are supposed to play for Nigeria against Mexico pull out because of the preseason.
Precision, yeah. I remember Kelechi Iheanacho also did that, although he finally lost his place back then under what's his name, Pep Guardiola. Yeah.
For me, as a coach too, if you beat preseason, I will play you. It's not possible. Because you will be at the same level with your teammates.
Wow.
So I will play you. So I think it's better for Salah to stay with Liverpool, or if you choose to stay with.
But maybe he's too big a player
Salah
to
will
be.
still travel in January for Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah, that's the problem now. The timing of this
We have
movement.
to look at these clubs.
A whole lot of competitions that they're having to play in at different times. And talking about playing, by way of updates now, Jabeur is presently on in Wimbledon against Sabalenka in the world of tennis, and she's down in the first set. Of course, it's the second set right now. She lost the first set 6-4. Sabalenka won the first set, and now they're in the second one. Although she's trying to pull her way back, it's 3-2 presently between both of them, and it looks very hard for her. She has to win this one to give herself any hopes of doing something. But 3-2 now, she's down against Sabalenka in the second set, and for Muchova, she's up against Angelique Kerber, who has won the first set 6-2. Although she's presently leading against Kerber in the second one. Later on, we would have Bati against Tomjanovic. But yes, 3-3 now between Ons Jabeur and Sabalenka in the second set. So yeah, that's the update from that side. Okay, do we travel away?
Yeah, let's talk about what is going on.
Okay.
Maybe we'll talk Euro 2020, because nobody will promise that we're going to at least.
Yeah. The game is by 8.
8 p.m. Nigerian
It's by
time.
8 p.m. Nigerian time today, and I'm sure that a lot of people have been waiting to see how the song will turn out. Of course, it's two big giants, two great men.
Yes, and
When you talk about
the
this,
team has met 7 times. Spain has won just only once. And remember, Spain has won this competition twice back to back. If you remember, 2008 and 2012.
yeah,
And Italy has won it once. That was 1968. And Italy want to win again. And this competition presently, they look like the best team. But sometimes best team don't win.
yeah,
But
that's true.
It's going to be very tight picture.
You know,
for both sides.
it's quite something. I'm looking at this site. You know, there's quite a number of things. Like, Italy have barely considered in this tournament. They have barely considered,
Consider 2.
and now
Austria,
and then the
Belgium.
game against Belgium. And you look at Spain also. I mean,
They have scored 12 goals, load of goals.
but they have
But they have also
considered.
conceded
They have been weak, and you know, it looks like
And
you
they're
know,
not playing well.
back forward. They're not playing well, but they are getting the result. I mean, they have only won one game at regulation time. The others, they had to go through extra time, you know, penalties, as the case may be.
Last 2 games, they have went through extra time to win.
Come
And
on.
This will be the 3rd time. Victor is not only an easy thing.
If they go through the third time at a stretch, they are going to have
They
problems.
will lose.
They're going to have
I doubt
problems.
if this game will get to extra time, because if you look at the Italians, the way they actually choke the Belgians shows that they can actually handle all the teams. That is just because if Spain continue to lose chances the way they did against Switzerland and against Croatia, this Italian team will punish them. It's not easy to score against this Italian team because of
Not at all. It's something that a lot of people have actually attested to.
The global left back. I'm talking about
Spinazzola.
Spinazzola will not be available for this one.
Sadly.
But if you look at them, Chiellini and Bonucci have done wonderful job right for them. Not forgetting Donnarumma. Look at these 2 saves Donnarumma made against Belgium. We saw the one from Lukaku. Good save, and also Kevin De Bruyne. These are world-class save. Give it to him. It's a world-class save. I think Spain needs to be very careful. They have players who don't score.
Well.
Look at Morata for God's sake.
And not just him. Now, I'm
A lot
also.
of players, they have a player called they call him Omo. A lot of
Danny
players.
Olmo, I would have expected something better from Danny Olmo, but the most surprising one has to be the case of Gerard Moreno, coming off the back of about 30 goals for himself at the club level. I'm talking about Sevilla. They also won this competition, the Europa League against Manchester United. They played the final, and of course, it was quite impressive in that game. Now, I would have felt like this guy was going to be pulling something right there for the national team, but right there with La Furia Ruja, he's taking more than 15 shots without finding the targets, and that's worrisome.
You know what? One thing I don't seem to like about this Spanish team is they won't touch too many. A lot of pass around. Sometimes where they need to kick. That's where they're going to have issues. Look at the goal this guy got against Belgium, Lorenzo Insigne. Look at the goal he scored. These are, sometimes if you don't play too much in front of your back four, you don't allow such to happen, they will punish you. But Spain will want to pass and get into the 18-yard box. And the kind of touches they are making now is not that of the Iniesta or Xavi that we used to know.
So basically, no precision with
that is all. They just pass the ball around.
precision and penetration. That's what you want.
Before Spain will before they will hit a shot, they will make sure all the 11 players touch the ball. You imagine they will take a corner kick and they will still pass the ball back to their goalkeeper. I don't know.
All right, that's it for the Sport Evangelist on the game between Spain and Italy, and commenting about all of that. But hey, we have to look at these two teams critically now. Roberto Mancini is up against Luis Enrique, and it's quite a number of things for us to note. I mean, come on. Roberto Mancini has built a record right there. It's a new competition record, and they have won their last 15 Euro matches, including qualifiers, and that's quite impressive. Looking at what they have done. So I don't know how to do it, but come on, we are looking at this competition. Quite a number of players to pick, and I don't know which one could make what happen. But for me, I think for Spain, the man that could actually help them is the man with the drive, the man who tries to go direct against the others. I'm talking about Ferran Torres of Manchester City. It looks like he's the one who has got the biggest chance to help Spain advance from this.
Definitely he has the opportunity, but for me, another thing is you have the physical presence to challenge Bonucci and Diego Chelleni.
He could be coming from either side or playing as a point man.
You really have to go with Chelleni and Emiliano Bonucci. I think Spain don't really have that number 9 that will threaten these two centre backs. And for you to score Spain, you have to drag these two guys out of position. That is, you have to drag them out. If you fail to do that, you might not get the goals. Till today, I still believe they were so lucky against Belgium. That is just it. They were so lucky.
The Italians?
The Italians, they were lucky. Because they were, I think, what really happened, assuming the Belgium have Hazard that day, maybe the result would have been different.
It could have been better because...
You know why? Lukaku was busy dragging Chiellini and Bonucci, but Doku and Co lacked the ability
to enter the space. Well, credit to Jeremy Doku. I think he did try his own bit.
In the second half, but in the first half, no,
he wasn't exactly doing the job.
Yeah, he lacked the confidence in the first half, but in the second half, he came into the party. That's why I said for the Spaniard, they don't seem to have the clever player of hold. The player that has the ability of Iniesta to handle the
intelligence
ball.
of space.
That is it, to just enter the place, to cross the line. But this time around, he just pass, and you begin to think. Sometimes you begin to, what is going on here? They pass, but look at Lorenzo Insigne. Spain has a lot of players who can take the shot. They also have, don't forget, they have this guy from Juventus, this that joined from Fiorentina.
Federico Chiesa.
Chiesa is there. Look at the goal he got. Look at Barella. The goal he got is a great job. Moving between the 3 defenders, and they still find the goal scoring the goal.
Well, first
look at the way they score Austria. This Italian team can make something happen out of nothing. If Spain have a chance, they should score on time. If they fail to do that, this Italian team will surely punish them. Don't forget, they still have a certain Belotti on the bench.
Andrea Belotti is also... Oh, come on. Okay. Quite a lot of firepower for the Italians, and they'll be hoping that they can actually advance with this one. Also, tomorrow, in the Copa America, there'll be some people waiting to see how Argentina will be doing the job against Colombia, actually, at early hours of tomorrow. That's what it is right there, also. So we'll be waiting, crossing our fingers on that one to see who joins Brazil in the final of the Copa America. But as it stands, yes, we are the people they have been waiting for. By way of updates, well, I don't know what's happening with Jabor right now. She's down by 5-3 in the second set, and it looks like if it continues this way, she's out, because that's 2 straight sets. Angelique Kerber has quickly dispersed, and she's right now 3-2 up in the second set against Mukova. And it's going to be interesting how that one turns out. But 8 p.m. Nigerian time today, Italy will be up against Spain. And of course, a lot of people will be watching out for what Roberto Mancini will be able to pull with his boys against Luis Enrique's La Furia Roja. That's how it is for the UEFA Europa Championship that is happening today. Yes, that's the semi-final fixture that we have for you. So let's keep our fingers crossed to see what happens right there. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Victor Makefa. Alongside me has been the sports evangelist. I'll be leaving you in the hands of something special. Yes, it's a beautiful song. And of course, we'll be driving on the highway. Keep it locked on. Don't go nowhere.
We are the people.
Yeah. I go out there, I'm a mock and what time they go. Because I pull up in the mountain gas on. I pass my kick out. I go talk about what car is on. It's even like a